Well, hi, Sapphire Wolf. Hi, Wolf and Raven. How's it going? Audio's going to cut out for a bit, guys. Okay, guys, audio is back. Sorry about that. Me and the baby dragon were talking about secret confidential things.
Thank you so much for the update.
We were talking about stuff with the kids. Hi, little bear. We were talking about stuff with the kids, and we don't want that on a recorded live. So it's one of those things with TikTok. Yes, it's recorded. I can download it later. It's not automatically uploaded where anybody who wants to can go and watch it. So yes, I exercised the mute button at my disposal. Yes, I am an international super spy. That is how I have been making my money. Not. How is everybody doing tonight? I'm sorry, little bear. Is there any way we can help you out of it? Little bear is in a horrible headspace. You okay, babe? People are always assholes. Well, hi, Panda. What do you mean the other little bear had nasty things said on her TikTok? Did you know about that, babe?
No. I haven't really been on TikTok lately, though, so. Unfortunately.
Oh, by the way, Ayana sent a message while you were on the phone. It said, and she agreed with you. You have to get dirty before you get clean.
Oh, I didn't get that message. Oh, it's not in the group chat, huh?
No. But you can send her one back in the group chat.
It's okay.
You might want to check on Little Bear, see how she's doing, though. Panda, I was muted when you first came in. Just saying.
If you need somebody to talk to.
Maybe I should put in the chat when I'm muting. That might not be the worst idea in the world. Oh, nice. The tiny red one turns 8 on April 28th. Okay, we're going to give it a few minutes, and then I am going to start reading.
Are you fucking kidding?
What?
Consent to say something to your fans and followers? Yes. Well, Little Bears, fans and followers, first of all, thank you for supporting her. And Little Bears,
This is the video that got taken down for nudity and violence.
Huh.
what you share.
And gun or violence. I don't remember the exact, but you know the one I'm talking about. This video was the one that got pulled.
Someone's fucking coming after her.
Yeah.
Well, Wolf and Raven, if it's April 28th, chances are we may actually send him a birthday present.
I agree. That is fucking stupid. Someone must be coming after you.
I will talk to the baby dragon and we will see what we can do. If you can send us ideas for birthday presents, that would probably be good. Wolf and Raven's little one, the little redhead, is turning 8 on April 28th.
Oh, I already know what I'm doing.
Does this have anything to do with dinosaurs?
Spider-Man, actually.
Okay.
He said he really likes Spider-Man, so I have an idea. So we're good.
I'm not sending him Baby Dragon. There's only one, and she's mine.
But no, I already got a plan. I might have to get her address again from her. But no.
Okay.
We've got this. He likes Spider-Man. I am gonna do something Spider-Man.
Well, hi, Halo. Why are you causing trouble?
What I may do. Okay. I may order another.
Oh, really?
What do you think about that idea, Tom?
I like that, actually.
Or maybe even like.
Okay, type that one. One moment.
Go ahead.
Okay, Wolf and Raven. By the way, hi, Halo. Halo is full potato today.
Sorry, that kind of caught Red's conversation.
And Wolf and Raven, she says the birthday present might be a little bit late, but she already has it picked out.
I already know what I'm gonna be doing.
Okay, Wolf and Raven. Yeah, Halo, she told me. How you holding up? Wolf and Raven says, tell her thank you from me, and he will love it very much. That's okay. We acquired Wendy's. We didn't feel like doing dinner tonight.
So we changed our mind.
Well, is there anything I can do to help, Halo? Besides, I don't know, shut up and start reading? Hey, there's nothing wrong with purple hair.
Well, actually, I might tell Wolf and Raven that I'm probably going to call her to double check with her first.
Okay.
Actually, tell her I'm going to do that right now.
You know she can hear you, right?
No, but I forgot about that. So I'm calling her now.
Halo, maybe getting some sleep is a good idea.
Hey. Okay, wait. Let me go inside real quick so that way, live.
Uh-huh.
My bad. I'm sorry. I'm going. Okay.
Hi, Lumi. Sorry, just finishing dinner. Ooh, yes. Very important, Lumi. Daddy comes first. Okay, good night, Halo. Get some sleep. We love you. And if you need anything, just let us know, okay? Okay, I mean, when it comes between us and daddy, daddy comes first. However, when it comes to you and your daddy, if he says you come first, he is a smart man, and I wholeheartedly support that decision. Good night, Lumi. Okay, guys, I'm going to give it about another 2 minutes, and then we are going to start reading. So it seems like it's going to be a quiet night tonight. Does anybody ever want to go back to work, Panda? I mean, like, ever. I am going to rearrange the camera a tiny bit. Okay, I say a tiny bit. Probably going to be more like a lot of bit, but I'm going to see how it works over here. Lift that over here. There we go. Let's go ahead and adjust that. Oh, that looks much better. And I can look at the comments and talk to you guys at the same time. No, but Panda, nobody ever wants to go back to work. It's a thing. Work is the horrible, horrible demon verse that we never ever want to enter. Oh, you'd be surprised, Panda. Like, some days, like, we sit there and go, do we want to make content? Fuck no, we don't. Because honestly, at some point, it does feel like work. I mean, let's be fair. It's pretty fucking great work. It's kind of fucking awesome. But it's still work, basically. Okay. So we are going to get started with reading. We haven't opened up to customs actually. Um, that's one of those things that we kind of haven't bit the bullet on yet. I mean, we know at some point we're going to do customs. We know at some point that is going to be in our repertoire, so to speak. But for right now, yeah, no, customs aren't a thing. And so we basically sit there and we film whatever the fuck we feel like filming. Um, which could be something incredibly hot and steamy. Could be something along the lines of something boring or vanilla. Um, it happens. Okay, so we ready to start reading? Sorry, guys. Yeah, yeah. Time to start reading. I got distracted. It happens from time to time. Okay, guys. So, we ready? Starting up with chapter 3. Bianca D'Angelo makes a choice. After seeing Dr. Thorne turn into a monster and plummet off the edge of a cliff with Annabeth, you'd think nothing else could shock me. But when this 12-year-old girl told me she was the goddess Artemis, I said something real intelligent like, okay. That was nothing compared to Grover. He gasped, then knelt hastily in the snow and started yammering. Thank you, Lady Artemis. Wow. Get up, goat boy, Dahlia snapped. We have other things to worry about. Annabeth is gone. Whoa, Bianca D'Angelo said. Hold up. Time out. Everybody looked at her. She pointed her finger at all of us in turn, like she was trying to connect the dots. Who are you people? Artemis's expression softened. It might be a better question, my dear girl, to ask who are you? Who are your parents? Bianca glanced nervously at her brother, who was still staring in awe at Artemis. Our parents are dead, Bianca said. We're orphans. There's a bank trust that pays for our school, but she faltered. I guess she could tell from our faces that we didn't believe her. What? She demanded. I'm telling the truth. You are a half-blood, Zoe Nightshade said. Her accent was hard to place. It sounded old-fashioned, like she was reading from a really old book. One of thy parents was mortal. The other was an Olympian. An Olympian athlete? No, Zoe said. One of the gods. Cool, said Nico. No, Bianca's voice quavered. This is not cool. Nico danced around like he needed to use the restroom. Does Zeus really have lightning bolts that do 600 damage? Does he get extra movement points for it? Nico, shut up! Bianca put her hands to her face. This is not your stupid mythomagic game, okay? There are no gods. As anxious as I felt about Annabeth, all I wanted to do was search for her. I couldn't help feeling sorry for Angelos. I remembered what it was like for me when I first learned I was a demigod. Dahlia feeling something similar, because the anger in her eyes subsided a little bit. I know it's hard to believe, but the gods are still around. Trust me, they're immortal, and whenever they have kids with regular humans, kids like us, well, our lives are dangerous. Dangerous, Bianca said, like the girl who fell. Thalia turned away. Even Artemis looked pained. Do not despair for Annabeth, the goddess said. She was a brave maiden. If she can be found, I shall find her. Then why won't you let us go look for her? I asked. She is gone. Can't you sense it, son of Poseidon? Some magic is at work. I do not know exactly how or why, but your friend has vanished. I still wanted to jump off the cliff and search for her, but I had a feeling that Artemis was right. Annabeth was gone. If she'd been down there in the sea, I thought I'd be able to feel her presence. Ooh, Nico raised his hands. What about Dr. Thorne? That was awesome how you shot him with arrows. Is he dead? He was a manticore, Artemis said. Hopefully he is destroyed for now, but monsters never truly die. They reform over and over again, and they must be hunted whenever they reappear. Or they'll hunt us, Thalia said. Bianca D'Angelo shivered. That explains... Nico, you remember last summer? Those guys who tried to attack us in the alley in D.C.? And that bus driver, Nico said. The one with the ram's horns. I told you that was real. That's why Grover has been watching you, I said, to keep you safe if you turned out to be half-bloods. Grover? Bianca stared at him. You're a demigod? Well, a satyr, actually. He kicked off his shoes and displayed his goat hooves. I thought Bianca was going to faint right there. Grover, put your shoes back on, Dahlia said. You're freaking her out. Hey, my hooves are clean. Bianca, I said, we came here to help you. You and Nico need training to survive. Dr. Thorne won't be the last monster you meet. You need to come to camp. Camp? She asked. Camp Half-Blood, I said. It's where half-bloods learn to survive and stuff. You can join us. Stay there year-round if you like. Sweet, let's go, said Nico. Wait, Bianca shook her head. I don't. There is another option, Zoe said. No, there isn't, Dahlia said. Dahlia and Zoe glared at each other. I didn't know what they were talking about, but I could tell there was bad history between them. For some reason, they seriously hated each other. We've burdened these children enough, Artemis announced. Zoe, we will rest here for a few hours. Raise the tents, treat the wounded, retrieve our guests' belongings from the school. Yes, my lady. And Bianca, come with me. I would like to speak with you. What about me? Nico asked. Artemis considered the boy. Perhaps you can show Grover how to play that card game you enjoy. I'm sure Grover would be happy to entertain you for a while, as a favor to me. Grover just about tripped over himself getting up. You bet. Come on, Nico. Nico and Grover walked off toward the woods, talking about hit points and armor ratings and a bunch of other geeky stuff. Artemis led a confused-looking Bianca along the cliff. The hunters began unpacking their knapsacks and making camp. Zoe gave Thalia one more evil look, then left to oversee things. As soon as she was gone, Thalia stamped her foot in frustration. The nerve of those hunters! They think they're so... I'm with you, I said. I don't trust... Oh, you're with me? Thalia turned on me furiously. What were you thinking back there in the gym, Percy? You'd take on Dr. Thorne all by yourself? You knew he was a monster. If we'd stuck together, we could have taken him without the hunters getting involved. Annabeth might still be here. Did you think of that? My jaw clenched. I thought of some harsh things to say, and I might have said them too, but then I looked down and saw something navy blue lying in the snow at my feet. Annabeth's New York Yankees baseball cap. Thalia didn't say another word. She wiped a tear from her cheek, turned, and marched off, leaving me alone with a trampled cap in the snow. The hunters set up their camping site in a matter of minutes. 7 large tents, all of silver silk, curved in a crescent around one side of a bonfire. One of the girls blew a silver dog whistle, and a dozen white wolves appeared out of the woods. They began circling the camp like guard dogs. The hunters walked among them and fed them treats, completely unafraid. but I decided I would stick close to the tents. Falcons watched us from the trees, their eyes flashing in the firelight, and I got the feeling they were on guard duty too. Even the weather seemed to bend to the goddess's will. The air was still cold, but the wind died down and the snow stopped falling, so it was almost pleasant sitting by the fire. Almost. Except for the pain in my shoulder and the guilt weighing me down. I couldn't believe Annabeth was gone. And as angry as I was at Thalia, I had a sinking feeling that she was right. It was my fault. What had Annabeth wanted to tell me in the gym? Something serious, she'd said. Now I might never find out. I thought about how we danced together for half a song, and my heart felt even heavier. I watched Thalia pacing in the snow at the edge of the camp, walking among the wolves without fear. She stopped and looked back at Westover Hall, which was now completely dark, looming on the hillside beyond the woods. I wondered what she was thinking. 7 years ago, Thalia had been turned into a pine tree by her father to prevent her from dying. She'd stood her ground against an army of monsters on top of Half Blood Hill in order to give her friends Luke and Annabeth time to escape. She'd only been back as a human for a few months now, and once in a while she would stand so motionless you'd think she was still a tree. Finally, one of the hunters brought me my backpack. Grover and Nico came back from their walk, and Grover helped me fix my wounded arm up. It's green, Nico said with delight. Hold still, Grover told me. Hold still, Grover told me. Here, eat some ambrosia while I clean that out. I winced as he dressed the wound, but the ambrosia square helped. It tasted like homemade brownie dissolving in my mouth and sending a warm feeling through my whole body. Between that and the magic salve that Grover used, my shoulder felt better within a couple of minutes. Nico rummaged through his own bag, which the hunters had apparently packed for him. Though how they snuck into Westover Hall unseen, I didn't know. Nico laid out a bunch of figurines in the snow, little battle replicas of Greek gods and heroes. I recognized Zeus with a lightning bolt, Ares with a spear, Apollo with a sun chariot. Big collection, I said. Nico grinned. I've got almost all of them, plus their holographic cards. Well, except for a few really rare ones. You've been playing this game a long time? Just this year. Before that, he knit his eyebrows. What? I asked. I forget. That's weird. He looked unsettled, but it didn't last long. Hey, can I see that sword you were using? I showed him Riptide and explained how it turned from a pin into a sword just by uncapping it. Cool. Does it ever run out of ink? Well, I don't actually write with it. Are you really the son of Poseidon? Well, yeah. Can you surf really well then? I looked at Grover, who was trying hard not to laugh. Geez, Nico, I said, I've never really tried. He went on asking questions. Did I fight a lot with Thalia since she was a daughter of Zeus? I didn't answer that one. If Annabeth's mother was Athena, the goddess of wisdom, then why didn't Annabeth know better than to fall off a cliff? Tried not to strangle Nico for asking that one. Was Annabeth my girlfriend? At this point, I was ready to stick the kid in a meat-flavored sack and throw him to the wolves. I figured any second he was going to ask me how many hit points I had and I'd lose my cool completely, but then Zoe Nightshade came up to us. Percy Jackson. She had dark brown eyes and a slightly upturned nose. With her silver circlet and her proud expression, she looked so much like royalty that I had to resist the urge to sit up straight and say, yes, ma'am. She'd studied me distastefully, like I was a bag of dirty laundry she'd been sent to fetch. Come with me, she said. Lady Artemis wishes to speak with thee. Zoe led me to the last tent, which looked no different from the others, and waved me inside. Bianca D'Angelo was seated next to the auburn-haired girl, who I still had trouble thinking of as Artemis. The inside of the tent was warm and comfortable. Silk rags and pillows covered the floor in the center. A golden brazier of fire seemed to burn without fuel or smoke. Behind the goddess, on a polished oak display stand, was her huge silver bow, carved to resemble gazelle horns. The walls were hung with animal pelts, black bear, tiger, and several others I didn't recognize. I figured an animal rights activist would have had a heart attack looking at all those rare skins, but maybe since Artemis was the goddess of the hunt, she could replenish whatever she shot. I thought she had another animal pelt lying next to her, and then I realized it was a live animal, a deer with glittering fur and silver horns, its head resting contentedly in Artemis's lap. Join us, Percy Jackson, the goddess said. I sat across from her on the tent floor. The goddess studied me, which made me uncomfortable. She had such old eyes for a young girl. Are you surprised by my age? She asked. A little. I could appear as a grown woman, or a blazing fire, or anything else I want, but this is what I prefer. This is the average age of my hunters, and all young maidens for whom I am patron, before they go astray. Go astray, I asked. Grow up, become smitten with boys, become silly, preoccupied, insecure, forget themselves. Oh.
Okay.
Ooh, I like it. Zoe sat down at Artemis's right. She glared at me as if all the stuff Artemis had just said was my fault, like I'd invented the idea of being a guy. You must forgive my hunters if they do not welcome you, Artemis said. It is very rare that we would have boys in this camp. Boys are usually forbidden to have any contact with the hunters. The last one to see this camp, she looked at Zoe. Which one was it? That boy in Colorado, Zoe said. You turned him into a jackalope. Ah, yes, Artemis nodded. Satisfied, I enjoy making jackalopes. At any rate, Percy, I've asked you here so that you might tell me more of the manticore. Bianca has reported some of the disturbing things the monster said. She may not have understood them. I'd like to hear them from you. And so I told her. When I was done, Artemis put her hand thoughtfully on her silver bow. I feared that this was the answer. Zoe sat forward. The scent, my lady? Yes. What scent? I asked. Things are stirring that I have not hunted in millennia, Artemis murmured. Prey so old I have nearly forgotten. She stared at me intently. We came here tonight, sensing the manticore, but he was not the one I seek. Tell me again exactly what Dr. Thorne said. I hate middle school dances? No, after that. He said somebody called the general was going to explain things to me. Zoe's face paled. She turned to Artemis and started to say something, but Artemis raised her hand. Go on, Percy, the goddess said. Well, then Thorne was talking about the great stir pot. Stirring, Bianca corrected. Yeah, and he said, soon we shall have the most important monster of all, the one that shall bring about the downfall of Olympus. The goddess was so still she could have been a statue. Maybe he was lying, I said. Artemis shook her head. No, he was not. I've been too slow to see the signs. I must hunt this monster. Zoe looked like she was trying very hard not to be afraid, but she nodded. We will leave right away, my lady. No, Zoe, I must do this alone. But Artemis, this task is too dangerous even for the hunters. You know where I must start my search. You cannot go there with me. As you wish, my lady. I will find this creature, Artemis vowed, and I shall bring it back to Olympus by winter solstice. It shall be all the proof I need to convince the council of the gods of how much danger we are in. You know what the monster is? I asked. Artemis gripped her bow. Let us pray I am wrong. Can goddesses pray? I asked, because I never really thought about that. A flicker of a smile played across Artemis's lips. Before I go, Percy Jackson, I have a small task for you. Does it involve getting turned into a jackalope? Sadly, no. I want you to escort the hunters back to Camp Half-Blood. They can stay there in safety until I return. What? Zoe blurted out. But Artemis, we hate that place. The last time we stayed there. Yes, I know, Artemis said. But I'm sure Dionysus will not hold a grudge just because of a little, misunderstanding. It's your right to use Cabin 8 whenever you are in need. Besides, I hear they rebuilt the cabins you burned down. Zoe muttered something about foolish campers. And now there is one last decision to make, Artemis turned to Bianca. Have you made up your mind, my girl? Bianca hesitated. I'm still thinking about it. Wait, I said. Thinking about what? They've invited me to join the hunt. What? But you can't. You have to come to Camp Half-Blood so Chiron can train you. It's the only way you can learn to survive. It is not the only way for a girl, Zoe said. I couldn't believe I was hearing this. Bianca, camp is cool. It's got a Pegasus stable and a sword fighting arena, and I mean, what do you get by joining the hunters? To begin with, Zoe said, immortality. I stared at her, then at Artemis. She's kidding, right? Zoe rarely kids about anything, Artemis said. My hunters follow me on my adventures. They are my maidservants, my companions, my sisters in arms. Once they swear loyalty to me, they are indeed immortal, unless they fall in battle, which is unlikely, or break their oath. What oath? I said. To forswear romantic love forever, Artemis said. To never grow up, never get married, to be a maiden eternally. Like you? The goddess nodded. I tried to imagine what she was saying. Being immortal, hanging out with only middle school girls forever. I couldn't get my mind around it. So you just go around the country recruiting half-bloods? Not just half-bloods, Zoe interrupted. Lady Artemis does not discriminate by birth. All who honor the goddess may join, half-bloods, nymphs, mortals. Which are you, then? Anger flashed in Zoe's eyes. That is not thy concern, boy. The point is, Bianca may join if she wishes. It is her choice. Bianca, this is crazy, I said. What about your brother? Nico can't be a hunter. Certainly not, Artemis agreed. He will go to camp. Unfortunately, that's the best boys can do. Hey, I protested. You can see him from time to time, Artemis assured Bianca, but you will be free of responsibility. You will have the camp counselors to take care of him, and you will have a new family. Us. A new family, Bianca repeated dreamily. Free of responsibility. Bianca, you can't do this, I said. It's nuts. She looked at Zoe. Is it worth it? Zoe nodded. It is. What do I have to do? Say this, Zoe told her. I pledge myself to the goddess Artemis. I pledge myself to the goddess Artemis. I turn my back on the company of men, accept eternal maidenhood, and join the hunt. Bianca repeated the lines. That's it? Zoe nodded. If Lady Artemis accepts thy pledge, then it is binding. I accept it, Artemis said. The flames in the brazier brightened, casting a silver glow over the room. Bianca looked no different, but she took a deep breath and opened her eyes wide. I feel stronger. Welcome, sister, Zoe said. Remember your pledge, Artemis said. It is now your life. I couldn't speak. I felt like a trespasser and a complete failure. I couldn't believe I'd come all this way and suffered so much only to lose Bianca to some eternal girls' club. Do not despair, Percy Jackson, Artemis said. You will still get to show the D'Angelos your camp, and if Nico so chooses, he can stay there. Great, I said, trying not to sound surly. How are we supposed to get there? Artemis closed her eyes. Dawn is approaching. Zoe, break camp. You must get to Long Island quickly and safely. I shall summon a ride for my brother. Zoe didn't look real happy about this idea, but she nodded and told Bianca to follow her. As she was leaving, Bianca paused in front of me. I'm sorry, Percy, but I want this. I really, really do. Then she was gone, and I was left alone with a 12-year-old goddess. So, I said glumly, we're going to get a ride from your brother, huh? Artemis's silver eyes gleamed. Yes, boy. You see, Bianca D'Angelo is not the only one with an annoying brother. It's time for you to meet my irresponsible twin, Apollo. And that is the end of chapter 3. I'm sorry. You know how they do. Only one god per chapter.
Little Bear invited me to join her Discord.
Oh, nice.
She told me I can send you the link so you can join as well.
Okay.
So if you want me to, I can send it to you.
Okay. I'm down.
Okay. I have joined and Aaron is in there. Remember?
Aaron.
Un momento. That brat Aaron.
Ah, that one.
That one, yes. So it took me a second to figure out the name. My bad. And I got some pictures to show you.
From.
Wait for a second, please.
Hold on, guys. Muting.
It's witchy trip.
Okay, why was Apollo not great in myth, Wolf and Raven? This I have to hear. Oh, and also this one. she sent me a snap, and I could tell that, uncovered, and I was like,
When you looked at the glasses, you know, when you looked at the glasses.
yeah, no, but I was like, ooh, naked. Enter last part of her name there, right? Because we're unmuted now.
I get that. I know. I figured.
And she goes, not fully. And I saw that, and I was just about to start reading, and I'm like, and I took a video. I was like, I'll get to reading here in a second. I got distracted. And she sent me a snap back while I was reading. She goes, "Are you live?" It's like story time, but no one saw. We're fine.
It's okay. We're good for right now.
Plus, there's only like 3 people in here, so I doubt any of you care. And Poseidon raped a woman in Athena's temple. Zeus has raped hundreds of women. There is not a single god who was good. And no offense, all of the goddesses, jealous bitches.
Honestly, yeah. And petty.
Oh, yes. In fact, I'm going to say one myth right now that will cause Baby Dragon
Don't fucking do it!
To groan and roll her eyes. Arachne.
Don't do it. Don't finish that one. And don't do the other one either.
Narcissus?
No.
No, that was Aphrodite.
I don't care. Don't do any of it.
Medusa?
No, I meant the one saying you're beautiful then.
Oh,
Don't
that
do
one.
That one.
Oh.
That is the one I am talking about. That is the one.
Persephone was kind of a bitch too. And I don't know what you know about Hecate, but no.
Oh, hell no. With a 5-damn bucket? Fuck no.
No, don't worry, babe. I wouldn't say that about you. However, I will say that Wolf and Raven is even more beautiful than the goddess Aphrodite.
Oh, God. You didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
I'm is scared for Wolf and Raven. And she is probably freaking the hell out right now.
I'm freaking the fuck out for her.
Babe. The bad part is that she can recognize who it is, even if you don't show your face, dear.
Oh no! I got you memorized. I've got your butts and boobs memorized like that.
Yeah.
I can. Oh my God! And I know the second he's texting you too. Because, oh my God! The look on his face, like, yeah, I fucking know. And the boobs. And what do you think of the glasses?
I stopped it before you said, and what? I stopped it before you said, and. I stopped it on a cute note. Also, she wants to know what you think of the glasses. Question. Did you just say you're an ugly duckling, Wolf and Raven?
3 good things immediately.
I think she was maybe directing that at the lovely goddess Aphrodite. I would have to look up Hestia, but as far as I know, Hestia has some bad stories too.
Oh fuck yeah, Hestia, fucking not guilt 3.
No, there's not a single god or goddess who has their hands clean.
No pain hands.
Okay, I'm going to give it about 2 more minutes, and then we are going to start reading chapter 31 of Stone of Tears, picking up with Richard this time and his itchy beard.
Itch.
And I think this is a long chapter.
Itch.
Oh, it is. Oh. Because, and I'm going to move the microphone closer for dramatic effect. This is the episode where Richard goes into the Valley of the Lost and finds a tower of perdition. How am I mean? Excuse me, I happen to think I'm very nice. What do you think, babe? Do you think I'm mean?
Depends on your definition of mean.
Well, Wolf and Raven is saying I'm mean, but probably because I said she was more beautiful than Aphrodite. She's also a better strategist than Athena.
Oh my god.
She's a better shot than Artemis.
Oh my god. What is wrong with you two?
She is better at witchcraft than Hecate.
You're just wrong.
And she has a greener thumb than Persephone herself. You want me to really go for the jugular?
Sure, you're fucking already there anyways.
And she is a better partner and mother than Hera. Shut your mouth, darn it.
No shit.
By the way, you have a location for Fairy Child, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I saved it.
Okay. If not, we're going to have to get it again because...
We have to send her box out.
Yes, and now would be a great time because she's going to be taking a week off for her birthday vacation.
Oh God, yes, we got to.
So I figured we could pack a couple other things in the box too.
Yes, definitely. God, yes. For her, yes, we got to.
Wolf and Raven, I muted you. Nope.
Hey, Wolf and Raven, I hate to break it to you. Even if you know you don't hear it, it's still being said.
She muted me, so she did not hear that.
No, that's my point. Is she doesn't have to be the one to hear it. You know, God's have ears everywhere.
No. Wolf and Raven muted me, so she can't hear this conversation right now.
I get that, but like I said, it's not the point.
I know, but saying that to Wolf and Raven when she muted us and can't hear it is
I don't care.
Is a little bit funny.
I don't care. It's still being said. It doesn't matter if she hears it. It matters if the God hears it.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. So I have a couple videos for you. Ready? Okay. Pause for a second. Or are you being timed?
No, I just was finishing up my few things.
Sorry, it's taking a second. No worries. Yeah, you know, if I don't get my coffee, I'm kind of like a zombie. But not like Walking Dead zombie, like live from iZombie. Yeah. Hi, I'm Tina.
We do love you, Wolf and Raven. I just like messing with you.
Can you hold this for a second? Yeah, I'll be right back. Oh, okay. People, this is Tina. I need to know everything about her, what she likes, what she eats, what Yelp reviews she's written, and most importantly, the big question here is she dead? What do you got? See the company database, I found that her last name is
Holy fuck, guess who's messaging me?
Oh.
Sam.
Oh. My Sam?
Wow.
What else?
Hold on.
She's funny. Her name is this online generator, and your ship name is Tina. Ew, I don't like that. Not again. But what about the big question? Is she gay? She likes Ellen. Everyone likes Ellen. She likes Tigger and Sarah. Now we're getting somewhere. Anything else, like any LGBT group she belongs to, any movies, you know, like kind of a cheerleader, that should be in you. I'll even take Black Swan, anything. She likes living in wild suburban things. That means at least like curious. But we need
I'm gonna
more.
ask you to help me because I don't know what those just meant.
She
Okay.
has several pictures with a girl named Kara. Is it a current girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, just a friend?
There's another picture too. But we win.
Is she? The results are
I've got nothing, honestly.
I'm just gonna
There's another picture. Did you see? Look at the
Yeah. But the other picture doesn't help either.
God damn it! You're no help.
Just wondering. My name is new to the man.
Oh, and remember the woman that was getting drunk doing Smash or Pass on Disney characters, right?
No, I do not know that game. What is it? Looks cool.
Hey.
New Disney effect. It's supposed to be who are your Disney parents, but you know what I'm gonna do with it. Oh, they would absolutely smash.
Huh, look.
Thrilled to be here. Yes, and I want to watch that movie. The BiPAC I just experienced. Are they all gonna be?
What?
No,
It's
no, they would not.
Tina's Wonderland.
Just when I thought I couldn't get any.
Look at the fucking unicorn!
I got
Oh, God.
worse. It's.
Of course, there's fucking unicorns in Tiny. Fuck yes.
Yes, and so far we've only had one couple that wouldn't smash. And
The gods always make my life interesting.
I don't think they would, but he's missing out. He's missing out big time. The laundry hanging up behind
Oh,
me.
that's not true. They
See
almost
what's out.
do.
I have underpants, and they would smash. Oh, y'all. I don't think I could last much longer on this filter, y'all. This was a bad idea. They would be such sweethearts. Y'all, someone take the phone out of my sport.
Through Baby Dragon, he already does.
A story. Okay. No. Okay. At least we had that one to cool us down.
What was that one?
New did.
It was Cruella de Vil and Ariel.
Yeah.
Are you actually dying, Sapphire Wolf?
Hi. Sorry, it's taking a second.
Yeah, that's how we are.
Oh. Babe, do not get drool on the couch. Ready?
Is it bad that all I can think about is putting whipped cream in every single spot?
Oh my God.
What? What? Tell me that would not be fucking fun. Look at me. Look at me.
That would be good.
Fuck yes.
Oh, by the way, hey. Accountant. She is an accountant.
Okay, but I'm not too fan of the audio that was just being shown.
Yeah, no. But here's the thing. A lot of people who are autistic do not like Autism Speaks.
Okay, but that wasn't Autism Speaks. That was LGBT.
That was the audio, but if you read the words, she is autistic and doesn't support Autism Speaks.
Oh, okay. I was not reading words. I was just watching her in the audio, listening to the audio. I was not reading. I was focused on other things.
Wolf and Raven, let me say this very clearly. Through Baby Dragon, Loki already makes my life interesting. You don't need to fill her with furious brat energy, okay? The woman is born of it. Born of it.
And that's how honestly me and Red are feeling, but I just don't know what else we can do when every other day videos are being taken down.
Is that Sam still or?
A little bit.
Oh, okay.
She says, I feel obligated to post stuff because of her newer ones and feeling obligated because she doesn't want them to get hurt. And told her we're kind of in the same boat. We're kind of getting tired of the violations and the videos being taken down when we actually do serious videos. Because it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we kind of do feel obligated to keep doing it because of what we've started.
Mm-hmm. Some use the Rainbow Infinity. Some people still use the puzzle piece. Wolf and Raven, you have to accept that you are part of a very diverse group and some people follow different things. That's the thing. Is it's just like the kink community. You have to realize that one person's view may not be another person's view, but they're both still valid. Like my nephew Brock prefers the puzzle piece over the Rainbow Infinity. He just thinks it's a better analogy, so to speak. The way he put it is he feels like the puzzle piece represents him trying to find the place that he fits in the world. Which I thought showed incredible wisdom on his part. No. I'll agree. Autism Speaks is absolutely fucking evil. But
And honestly, as long as she has the energy for it and she's feeling up to it, why not?
I am now, Mummy.
Ew, don't call me that.
Why not you just call me Daddy?
Yeah, but I did it in like a hot way. Daddy.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever tried getting your kid to lie down?
Mummy.
That's not hot.
Is mother better?
No.
Nam.
No.
And if I'm your daddy, does that make you my child? Because I'm not into that. My friend told me.
oh my God. Hey, babe.
If God had not intended man to eat pussy, he wouldn't have made it look so much like a taco. Yes, sir!
Didn't man make tacos though? Not God. I'm just saying the logic there.
I'm probably thinking about pussy, honestly.
I'm not lying about that part, especially with the meat and everything like that, and the cream and everything. I have no doubt, but I'm just saying, didn't man create tacos, not God? Just point a minute.
What the fuck?
What? Speak.
Dropkick Murphys feud with neo-Nazis.
Dropkick Murphys, virtue signaling that they're going to kick neo-Nazi ass.
You know, I guess you really are headstrong and will take on anyone if you're willing to fight the Dropkick Murphys over Nazis. For those of you who haven't been following this saga, let's start from the beginning and explain that image. Every year, Boston hosts the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and this year, these neo-Nazi dickwads in National Socialist Club 131 showed up to be white supremacists and shit. They also chose to use Keep Boston Irish as their dog whistle, but last I checked, the Nazis weren't exactly keen on Catholics, but I didn't expect these folks to be historically informed. So other than it being Boston and Irish, why did the Dropkick Murphys get
Clam mole?
involved?
Wow.
During this entire scuffle, the neo-Nazis were blasting the song "The Boys Are Back" by the Dropkick Murphys, which, like, once again, not very historically informed. So, of course, the Murphs found out about it, and they called them fucking losers. Also, in all their glory, challenging them to a goddamn fist fight, which, by the way, ended in the Murphs posting a video being like, "Where are you? We're here. You gonna come fight us?" And the Nazis never showed up. The Murphs also filed a cease and desist to ban them from using their music. So if there's anybody in the music industry that's actually going to punch a Nazi, I would bet good money that it's Ken Casey, or really any of the Murphs, but specifically Ken. So anyway, this brings us to our idiot of the hour, Mr. Trapped. So I sacrificed a minute of my life to listen to this ding-dong's claims, so you wouldn't have to. Firstly, he says that the Dropkick Murphys threatening to fight Nazis is stupid because Nazis don't exist, which seems to be quite a thought shift from a year and a half ago when he was cozying up to them. It's suspicious that you're saying that they don't exist when they seem to be your BFFs. And his second claim seems to be that the real problem is in Ukraine, which refers to Putin's dog whistle that he's invading Ukraine to denazify it, which not only is super scary and anti-Semitic because Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, is literally Jewish. So to summarize, Trump knows nothing about Dropkick Murphys, is besties with Nazis, and is regurgitating Putin's propaganda. Lastly, I want to say that I find it very funny that Trump is basically calling the Murphs posers on the only social media app that they don't have an active presence on. Come on, Trapped. Say it to the Murphs face on Twitter. Sounds like Ken will meet you at the park on M Street.
Dropkick Murphys.
Okay, let me just say this. I absolutely loved the Dropkick Murphys before this, and I love them even more right now. Honestly, I could probably go gay for the Dropkick Murphys at this point. I mean, challenging Nazis to a fucking fight on M Street. That screams Irish pride. And here's the thing, if I lived in Boston, I'd probably be on M Street getting drunk. Maybe I should just do YouTube videos of me responding to TikTok videos randomly.
Kind of like I did that one.
Hey, Bailey. Kind of like you did that one, what?
Kind of like I did that one.
Oh, with the inner bra?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think that's a great idea. I think you should try it. But real quick, I am going to add this to. Oh, she does not have stitches on.
Save the video and then tag her.
You can't save the video. Ugh, fine. Okay, so who's ready for me to shut up and start reading? Wow, that hand went up fast. Well, baby, don't sugarcoat it. Tell me how you really feel.
That's what I thought I did.
See, I thought that, you know.
I loved you. Well, you got
I
wrong.
wasn't even going to go there, but my God, I am
I don't worry. I'll go there.
offended and mortified all the same.
Oh, shit.
Apparently, our love is a lie, people. I will still marry this beautiful woman anyways, for she is the light of my life.
Oh, my fucking God.
Even though she is a pain in the ass. I don't know how I could have been so wrong. And none of them care. Of course not.
Of course. Did you really think they were going to take your side?
I thought maybe because, they're my followers, but clearly none of them love me. It's fine.
Obviously.
And Wolf and Raven is still just on the whole Bailey Red is really mean. Just because I compared her to a few minor goddesses.
Really?
I follow the Norse pantheon. No offense, Odin would straight up eat fucking Zeus for breakfast. Babe. Babe. Does she get a woo for that? Hold on. Okay, I am saving that because that was not personalized in any way. You just lifted up your shirt and went woo woo. Okay, so Bailey, I may have compared her to Aphrodite, Athena, Artemis, Hecate, Persephone, and maybe Hera a little bit. See, here's the thing. The difference between me and all of you brats is the fact that you guys may brat, but I go for the jugular. I'm just saying. Okay, anyways, we are going to start reading with chapter 31. Richard watched the horses eating grass that wasn't there and scratched his itchy beard. The surface of the valley was baked and barren, but the horses seemed contented in their grazing, as if there were lush green grass beneath their feet. Illusion, it seemed, deluded and enticed even the horses. He wondered what wasn't there that he was going to see. Sister Verna at last moved, pulling up on Jess's lead line, pulling him away from his browsing. This way! Ominous dark clouds hugged the ground ahead, boiling as if alive and eagerly awaiting them. Richard pulled the other two horses on, following after the sister. She had told them that they must walk because the horses could be suddenly spooked by things unseen and could carry them helpless into a spell. Sister Verna abruptly altered her course across the featureless ground, taking them a little to the right. The dark cloud of dust and dirt lifted and tumbled, driven by the gusts that, as of yet, didn't touch them. Sister Verna looked over her shoulder, her expression as dark as the cloud. Whatever you see, you ignore it. Whatever it isn't real. You just ignore it. Do you understand? What am I going to see? She redirected her attention to the way ahead. Her white blouse was damp with sweat, as was his shirt. I can't tell you. The spells seek those things in your own mind you fear or long for, so everyone sees different things. Yet some visions are the same. Some fears are the same in all of us. Some of the magic we will see is not visions but real, like those clouds of dust. And what did you see the last time you were so afraid of? She walked in silence for a time. One I loved. If she was a loved one, why would you be afraid to see her? Because he tried to kill me. Richard blinked at the stinging sweat in his eyes. He? Do you have a man you love, sister? She watched the ground as he walked. Not anymore. Her voice was soft with sorrow. She glanced up at him a moment before seeking the ground once more with her eyes. Babe, look at me. You, as well as everybody else, are about to be really pissed. When I was young, I had a love, Jedediah. She was silent, so he asked, "He is not your love anymore?" She shook her head. "Why not?" Pausing only a moment, she wiped her brow with a finger before moving on. "I was young, perhaps younger than you, when I left the palace of the prophets, left to find you. We didn't know if you had been born yet. We knew that if you had not been, you would be, but we didn't know when, so 3 sisters were sent. But that was many years ago. I've spent better than half my life away from the palace. But that was many years ago. I've spent better than half my life away from the palace, from Jedediah." She stopped again, peering first right, then left, before starting ahead once more. "He will have long ago forgotten me and found another." "If he really loved you, sister, he won't have forgotten you and found another. You haven't forgotten him." Wolf and Raven, the smudge on my glasses always returns. I have to clean them constantly. Secondly, sprites aren't allowed here. The house is warded.
Yep.
Honestly, if you don't tell me you're coming, you won't be able to get in. I have it warded against Faye, too. I took them down and put them back up after you left. What? I'm not stupid. She tugged on her horse's line, pulling him away from something he wanted to investigate. "Too many years have passed. We've grown older apart. I have grown old. We are not the same people we were. He is one with the gift and has his own life. It would not include me. You're not old, sister. If you really love each other, time shouldn't matter." He wondered if he was talking about her or himself. Sister Verna gave a soft, private laugh. "Youth. Youth holds much hope, but not much wisdom. I know the ways of people, of men. He has been too long from my skirts. He will long ago have sought another." Richard felt himself blushing in the heat. "Love has more to it than that." "Ah, so you know so much of love, yes? You too will soon be searching the charms of a new pair of pretty legs." Richard was about to vent a rush of sudden anger when Sister Verna stopped. She looked up. The dark cloud swirled in, closing in on them. From somewhere, Richard heard the faint sound of someone screaming his name. "Something is wrong," Sister Verna whispered to herself. "What is it?" She ignored him, pulling Jessup to the left. "This way." Lightning lit the air about them. A blinding bolt struck the ground ahead, sending a shower of the chalky earth skyward. The ground shook with the impact. Every muscle flinched from the nearness of the strike. When the lightning tore the dark wall open for an instant, Richard saw Kaylin. She was standing, watching him, and then she was gone. "Kaylin?" Sister Verna reversed course. "This way, now! Richard, I told you it is not real. Whatever you saw, you must ignore it." He knew it was an illusion, but the sight ran a sharp pang of longing through him. He groaned inwardly. Why did the magic have to attract him with visions of her? His own mind, Sister Verna had said, would bring forth the things he feared, or those for which he longed. Which was this, he wondered, fear or longing? Is the lightning real? Real enough to kill us, but it's not like lightning in the sense of what you know. This is a storm of spells that are battling each other. The lightning is a discharge of their power as they fight each other. At the same time, it also seeks to destroy any intruder. Our way is among the gaps in their battle. Hold on, guys. Pause. No, Wolf and Raven, you didn't lose sound. I lost my temper a little bit, but yeah.
In her defense, it's not her fault. She's not the one who's doing it. She's trying to corrupt it.
Yeah, we're fine. It has to do with the kids, which means we can't really talk about it on here. It may not be her fault, but she's also not correcting it the right way. Because as it stands right now, they have 2 moms. They have 2 dads.
I don't know what to do.
All she's going to do is confuse them.
Yeah. I don't.
Babe, all of this it's not that they're forgetting that you're their mother. It's the simple fact that they're too young to understand.
Can you please just hurry?
Okay, I will start reading. Again, he heard the distant scream of his name, but it wasn't Kalen's voice. It was a man's voice. Another lightning bolt struck directly in front of them. He and the sister both protectively threw an arm up before their faces. The horses didn't start. It must be as the sister said. Horses would have panicked had it been real lightning. Thanks, guys. As the dirt thrown up by the lightning rained down around them, Sister Verna turned and snatched him by the shirt sleeve. Richard, listen to me. Something is wrong. The way is shifting too fast. I'm not able to feel it as I should be able to. Why would that be? You've been through here before. You were able to do it before. I don't know. We don't know a great deal about this place. It's tainted with magic we don't entirely understand. I have offered Bailey. She has told me to keep reading. It could be that the magic has learned to recognize me from when I was here before. Going through more than twice is not possible. Going through the second time is said to be more difficult than the first. It could just be that, but it might be something else. What something else? You mean me? Her eyes glanced past him to things she was seeing, but he knew weren't there. She refocused her gaze on him. No, not you. If it were you, I would still be able to feel the past as I did before. But I can't. I can only feel it some of the time. I think it's because of what happened with sisters Elizabeth and Grace. What do they have to do with it? The dark storm was all about them now, swirling and howling. Their clothes flapped in the gusts. He had to squint against the dust. In their death, they passed on their gift. That is the reason they gave their lives when you refused the offer, to pass their gift to the next, to make her stronger so she might succeed at the next try. That was why he had felt the pull to accept the collar more strongly each time the offer had been made. Kalen had said that might have been the reason they killed themselves when he refused, to add to their power, make them stronger. You mean you have the power, the Han of the other sisters? She nodded as her eyes darted about. It gives me the power of all 3. Her eyes came back to his. It could be that I have too much power to make it through. She clutched his shirt tighter and pulled him closer to her face. If I don't make it, you must go on alone. Try to make it on your own. What? I don't know how to make it through. I don't feel anything of the spells about us. Don't argue with me. You felt the lightning. You felt that much of it. One without the gift would not feel it until it was too late. You must try. Sister, you will be all right. You will sense the way. But if I don't, you must try. Ignore anything you see that tempts you, Richard. If I die, you must try to make it through to the Palace of the Prophets. If anything happens to you, I'll try to make it back to the Midlands. It's closer. She gave a sharp tug on his shirt. No, must you always challenge what I tell you? She scolded at him a moment before letting her expression cool. Richard, if you don't have a sister to teach you to control the gift, you will die. The collar alone will not save you. You must have a sister for the Radahan to be of use. Without a sister, it would be like having lungs but no air to fill them. We are the air. Some of us have already given our lives to help you. Don't let them die in vain. He took her hand from his shirt and gave it a gentle squeeze. You are going to make it. I promise you. You'll make it. If there is anything I can do to help, I'll try. Don't be afraid. Ignore what you're seeing. Isn't that what you said? She released an exasperated breath and then took her hand back, turning away. You don't know the things I see. She looked over her shoulder, squinting at him. Don't test me, Richard. I'm not in the mood. You do as you're told. Richard heard the thunder of horses' hooves as Sister Verna quickly led them ahead. The darkness swirled around them as lightning crackled through it. He found it difficult to accept the calmness of the horses. Could it be that he really was using the gift to feel it? To his left, the wall of dust lifted. Light beyond shone through. Richard stared at the sight. It was the Heartland Woods. The woods he knew, longed to return to. They were here before him. He had only to step through. The peace of the place he stared at made him ache with longing, as if stepping through to them would be his salvation. But he knew it was an illusion, a spell of longing meant to trap him and let him wander for all time in ensorcelment. He wondered what would be so bad about that, even if it wasn't real. If it was a place he loved and he would be happy there, what would be so bad about that? He heard his name called again in a scream. Horses' hoofs were almost upon him. He spun around, realizing it was Chase's voice screaming his name. Ignore it, Richard, came the sister's growl. Keep moving. Richard longed for his friend as much as he longed for the Heartland Woods. He walked backward, watching. Chase was riding at a full gallop, his black cloak flying behind, his weapons glinting in the light of the merciless sun. The horse was covered with lather. Someone else was with him. In his lap, Richard squinted, trying to see better, and realized it was Rachel. That was natural. Rachel would be with Chase. Rachel was screaming his name too. Richard watched the illusion as it bore down upon him. Something about Rachel riveted his attention. Something about her gave Richard the strong sense of Zed's presence. His eyes were lured to an amber stone hanging by a gold chain around her neck. The sight of the stone drew Richard's interest, as if it were Zed himself calling to him. Richard! Chase was screaming. Don't go in there! Don't go in there! Zed needs you! The veil is torn! Richard! Chase suddenly drew the horse to a skidding stop. Richard screaming. With Rachel in his arms, he dismounted, looking about in wonder. The dust was passing between them again, and Richard was having difficulty seeing his old friend. Chase set Rachel down and took her hand as they both turned about, staring off at nothing. Richard thought that an odd thing for a vision to do, but then decided it must just be a way of trying to entice him to go see what they were looking at. Richard turned to the sister as she called his name. Come on, or I'll make you wish I had left you here. You mustn't stop. She surveyed each side as she moved ahead. This opening is closing around us. Hurry before we're trapped. Richard glanced behind. The vision was disappearing beyond the swirling darkness. Chase and Rachel appeared to be walking off toward something. The roiling clouds passed between Richard and the vision of his friends, and they were gone. Richard trotted to catch up with Sister Verna. He wondered at the reason for such an odd vision. Why would the magic pick these two from his mind to tempt him? They had seemed so real. It had felt as if he could have reached out and touched the two of them. Perhaps the magic was trying to seduce him into following someone he trusted with his life. But it had seemed so real. Chase had looked so desperate. That is literally the best comeback anyone has ever done to me saying that. My dear, I give my blessing, you may keep her.
I was just about to have a fucking panic attack.
Why?
I was like, I can't fucking see.
But, my dear, look at me. I give my blessing, you may keep her.
That's good to know. That really scared me for a second. Fucking contacts, and why can't I fucking... Oh, wait.
He cautioned himself to pay attention. Of course it seemed real to him. That was the whole purpose of the magic. To appear real in order to fool you, to draw you in. It wouldn't be very effective magic if it didn't seem real. Richard put a hand to Jessup's flanks as he came up behind him, to let him know he was there and to keep from startling him. He ran the hand along the length of the muscular horse as he trotted by, pulling Bonnie and Geraldine along by their lines in his other hand. Richard gave Jessup a pat on the neck as he went past. Jessup dropped his head and once again browsed at grass that wasn't there, his lead line dragging dragging the ground. Richard froze in his tracks. Sister Verna was gone. Lightning exploded in every direction with deafening noise. A bolt blasted the ground at his feet. He leapt to the side to avoid the next strike. His hair seemed to stand on end as the lightning hit. He could feel the searing heat. His vision was laced with blue-white afterimages of the jagged flashes. Sister Verna's in trouble. But here's the thing. She's the one that knows everything. She's the sister. He needs to listen to her. Yeah, watch. Bitch needs help now. Too much? Richard screamed out the sister's name as he gathered up the lead lines, pulling the horses on as he frantically scanned about. The lightning seemed to follow him, striking the ground repeatedly where seconds ago he had been. Balls of flame ignited in the air, shrieking as they came apart. It seemed as if the very air burned. The wail of the fire was everywhere. Actually, I like one sister.
Yeah, that's the one that's in danger.
Yeah. I also like the prelate, too. The prelate is fucking hilarious. But Verna, hey. 90% of them Wolf and Raven. But Verna is fucking legit, okay? And the man she ends up with is absolutely perfect, let me tell you.
Who?
The man that Verna ends up with.
Who is it? God damn you.
I know you love spoilers, but I also love torturing you by giving you some spoilers that you want and not giving you others that you desperately need.
I hate you.
I love you.
I hate you. Especially right now.
Okay, no. So, Sister Verna right now is an idiot, but Richard opens her eyes, okay? And she becomes to trust him more than life itself. You have not met him yet, Sapphire. No, they don't. But that's because in their world, there were no more wizards to teach young. Why the Wizards of old built the. Never mind, not going to get into it. They're they can, and they were given a job. However,
they're trying. They're doing what they think is best.
You are going to see Zed spectacularly pissed.
It's gonna be epic.
Oh, you can read ahead, but she doesn't fall in love with this guy for like another 3 books. So good luck with that one. Maybe 4 books. 3 books? 4 books? I know the war is in full-fledged. Okay. Really, Wolf and Raven? If you're 1 or 2 that are readable or redeemable, whatever. If your 1 or 2 isn't Ferna and Annalena Aldurin, then I don't want to talk to you. I'm sorry, Sapphire. But no, Sapphire, you have not met him yet. And don't even get me started on Nisi. Oof. Well, good luck to you, Bailey. Okay, Sapphire Wolf, you have not met him yet. He shows up later in this book, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. But they don't fall in love for like another 3 or 4 books. Anyways. Abruptly, the corner of white, polished... Oh. Let's see here. Richard ran towards the gaps left after each dissipated, dodging the lightning and the flames, covering his head with a hand, even though he knew that if the magic hit him, the hand wouldn't save him. The cacophony seemed enough to drive a person mad. The dark dust clouds prevented him from seeing anything, if indeed there was anything to see. He ran on, heedless of direction, just trying to avoid the blue bolts and yellow flames. Oh, no. Wolf and Raven, what I'm saying by Nisi is, oh, I fucking would. Oh, I would. Oh, in a fucking heartbeat. Not in this book. But definitely in the books following this book. Maybe not so much the third book or the fourth book. But the fifth and sixth, yes. Abruptly, the corner of white, polished marble walls loomed up before him. Lurching to a panting halt, he looked up, but couldn't see the top. It disappeared into the dark cloud above. A strike that was too close for comfort started him running again, pulling the 3 horses behind. The middle of the wall had arched opening round it. Rounding the corner, he found that wall, too, held an arched opening. As he ran, he counted. Each of the 5 sides of the structure was about 30 strides. In the center of each wall was an arched opening 6 strides wide and about as tall. He stopped, catching his breath outside one of the openings. It was empty inside, and through the opening he could see each arch in the outer walls. Sapphire Wolf, it's fine. The other day, Baby Dragon found a trump paddle.
Oh, yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I wish I was getting on that one, guys. No, but seriously, a MAGA Trump paddle. No, that's the thing, Wolf and Raven. I can show you a picture. In fact, I will show you a picture. I'm sitting here. I got my phone. I had Baby Dragon screenshot it. See? I wouldn't shit you guys. You're my favorite turds. Through the arched openings, he could see the boiling... wait, hold on. Lightning hammered the ground, flinging dirt into the air. He threw his arms up in front of his face. The strikes marched toward him, their sound thundering in his ears. He had nowhere to go. He let go of the horses and dove through the arch, rolling across the sandy ground inside. Silence echoed in his ears as he sat up. Leaning back on his hands inside the structure was barren, empty. The air wasn't sweltering as it had been outside, but felt almost cool in comparison, and smelled sweet like a grassy meadow. Through the arched openings, he could see the boiling black clouds that hugged the ground. The lightning arced violently, but its sound was only a dim rumble. The horses wandered slowly, grazing on the grass that wasn't there. This must be one of the towers of perdition Sister Verna had told him about. The interior of the walls soared up into the darkness high above and were black with the results of Wizard's life fire. Richard ran a finger through the black grit and tasted it. He winced at the bitter tang it left on his tongue. The wizard who had died to give his life to this fire had not done so willingly. He had done it to save himself the torture of what they had intended to do to him, or perhaps what they were doing to him. The ground was covered with white sand that sparkled with prismatic light. It was drifted into the corners like snow. Richard remembered seeing sand like this before. It was in the People's Palace, in the Garden of Life. In a circle in the center of the room, Dark and Rawl had drawn spells in that sparkling white sand when he had been trying to open the boxes of Riordan. I don't know how it would be used elsewise, Sapphire Wolf. I really don't. Richard paced around the inside of the tower, trying to decide what to do. It seemed safe in this place, but for how long? Surely, sooner or later, the magic would find him. Maybe the seeming safety of this place was simply an enchantment meant to trap him, keep him here for all time, afraid to venture out. He couldn't say. He had to find the sister. She needed his help. She was afraid. He had told her she would make it through. But why should he want to help her? She kept him prisoner. If he left her there, he would be free. But free to do what? If she didn't help him learn to control the gift, he would die. Or so she said. I don't see how that's a children's paddle, Sapphire Wolf. Babe, do you?
No. I mean, for a really fucked up mom and dad, I guess. Fuck, but
A really fucked up mom and dad. Hell, I don't even think your mom is that fucked up. I know my mom is probably that fucked up, but still, she's not a Trump fan. And my mother's weapon of choice has always been a shoehorn for some fucking reason.
Same with my mom.
Air 5. There we go. Anyways, let's see here. Richard turned at a sound from behind. Kaylin stepped out of the darkness of an archway. Her long hair didn't flow over her shoulders, but was tied back in a single braid. Instead of her white confessor's dress, she wore the red leather of a moored Sith. Richard stood stiffly, his chest heaving. Kaylin, I refuse to think of you in this way, even in an illusion drawn from my own mind. She arched an eyebrow. But isn't this what you fear most? Change it or be gone. The red leather shimmered and became the white confessor's dress he knew so well. The braid came undone. Better, my love? I'm afraid it still won't save you. I have come to kill you. Die with honor. Defend yourself. Richard drew the sword of truth. The unique ring of its steel echoed throughout the tower. Wrath surged through him as the magic was loosed. He endured with detached misery the sensation of murderous need, while looking upon the face of the only person who made his life worth living. His knuckles tightened on the braided wire hilt, on the bumps of the word truth. His jaw muscles flexed as he gritted his teeth. He felt a rush of understanding at how the wizards could have made life fire and have given themselves into it rather than endure what was to be done to them. Some things were worse than death. Richard tossed the sword to the ground at Kaylin's feet. Not even in an illusion, Kaylin. I would rather die. Her green eyes shone with a sad, timeless, knowing look. Better you had died, my love, that you wouldn't see what I have come to show you. It will bring you more pain than death. Her eyes closed as she sank to her knees, leaning forward, bending into a deep bow. The whole of the time she was slumping forward, her hair shortened. By the time her head touched the sparkling white sand, her hair looked as if it had been chopped short, close to the nape of her neck. This must be, or the keeper will escape. Stopping it will aid him, and he will have us all. Speak, if you must, these words, but not of this vision. Without looking up, she spoke in a detached note. Of all there were but a single one born of the magic to bring forth truth will remain alive when the shadow's threat is lifted. Therefore comes the greater darkness of the dead. For there to be a chance at life's bond, this one in white must be offered to her people to bring their joy and good cheer. As Richard stood staring at the illusion, at the back of her head, a ring of blood blossomed around her neck. Richard's breath halted, as if it had been cleaved off. Kaylin's head tumbled away. Her body fell to its side. Blood gushing, spreading in a pool beneath it, turning the white sand and white dress to red. Richard drew a gasp of a breath. No! His chest heaved. He felt his fingernails cutting into his palms. His toes curled in his boots. Everyone hating this so far? It's an illusion, he told himself as he shook. An illusion, nothing more. An illusion meant to terrorize him. Kaylin stared up at him with flat, dead green eyes. Though he knew it had to be an illusion, it nonetheless was working. Panic paralyzed his legs. Fright raced recklessly through his mind. The image of Kaylin wavered and then vanished suddenly as Sister Verna stormed through an archway to the side. Richard! She shrieked in fury. What are you doing in here? I told you to stay with me. Can't you follow the simplest instructions? Must you always act like a child? She took 2 strides forward, her face red with rage. His heart thumped violently with the pain of what he had just seen. He blinked at Sister Verna. He was in an ill humor to tolerate the surly side of her disposition. You were gone. I couldn't find you. I looked, but don't talk back to me. Her curls sprang up and down as much as she yelled. I've had all the talk from you I can stomach. I told you I was in no mood for it, Richard. My patience is at an end. He opened his mouth to speak, but the collar yanked him backward, his feet leaving the ground. It felt as if he had been jerked by a rope around his neck. With a grunt, he slammed into the wall. The impact knocked the wind from his lungs and the sense from his head. He hung, his feet clear off the ground. Pinned to the wall by the Radahan, the collar was choking him. He tried to focus his eyes, but his vision only blurred uselessly. It's time you had a lesson I should have given long ago, the sister said in a growl as she stalked toward him. I have suffered enough of your disobedience. I will suffer it no longer. Richard struggled to breathe. Each breath burned as he drew it through the constriction at his neck. His vision cleared and finally focused on Sister Verna's face. His anger heated. Sister, don't. Pain took his words. It ignited in his chest with such intense burning force, it made his fingers tingle. He couldn't draw a breath to scream. I've had enough of your words. I will hear no more. No more of your excuses, your arguments, your harsh judgments. From now on, you will do as you are told, and when you are told, and you will offer me no more of your insolence. She took another step toward him, her expression twisted with menace. Do we understand each other? She somehow made the pain worse. He shook with the crushing hurt in his chest. Stinging tears flooded from his wide eyes. I asked you a question. Do we understand each other? Air rushed into his lungs. Sister Verna, I'm warning you. Don't do this. You are warning me? You are warning me. White-hot pain knifed through his chest, twisting tighter with each breath. A scream ripped from his lungs. His worst fears were coming to life. This was what wearing a collar had brought him to again. This was what the sisters had in mind for him. This was his fate if he allowed it. Richard called the sword's magic. Summoned by its master, the power swept into him. Hot with promise, hot with wrath, hot with need. Richard welcomed it, embraced it, letting his own rage join with the rage of the sword and spiral through him. His fury consumed the pain, using it to draw power. Don't you dare fight me, or I will make you rue the day you were born. See, that phrase needs to be used more often. Fiery flames of agony bloomed anew. Richard drew them into the wrath. Though he wasn't touching the sword, he didn't need to. He was one with the magic, and he called forth all its force now. Stop this, he managed through gritted teeth, or I will. Sister Verna, with her fists at her side, stepped closer. Now you threaten me? I warned you before about threatening me. You have made your last mistake, Richard. Though he was nearly blinded by the pain she suddenly unleashed into him, he was able to see one thing, the sword of truth. It lay in the sand near the sister. The seeker focused the sword's magic into the power that bound him to the wall. With a loud crack, the bond broke and he tumbled away from the wall, rolling through the sand. His hands found the sword. Sister Verna charged towards him. He came up swinging the sword in an arc. The need for her blood seared through his soul, beyond retrieval. Nothing else mattered. Bringer of death. He didn't try to direct the track of the blade, but simply focused his need to kill into the power of its swing. The sword's tip whistled through the air. Bringer of death. The blade exploded through the sister at shoulder level. The cool air erupted with a spray of hot blood, the smell of it filling his nostrils as the sight of it filled his vision. Her head and part of her shoulders tumbled up into the air as the blade severed her in two. Blood and bone hit the walls. The lower half of her body collapsed fluidly to the ground. Blood soaked into the white sand, spreading beneath her. What was left of her shoulders and head hit the ground a good 10 feet away, sending up a spray of white sand. The gore of her insides glistened in a line away from the body. Richard collapsed to his knees, panting, the pain finally gone. He had told himself he would not allow this to be done to him again. He had meant it. Like a distant memory, his insides ached with the pain of what he had done. It had all happened so fast. Before he had had time to think, he had used the sword's magic to take a life, and the magic would want its due. He didn't care. It was nothing to compare to the pain of what she had been doing to him, what she would have done to him. As he focused on the rage, the pain evaporated and he was gone. But what was he going to do now? He needed the sisters to teach him how to keep the gift from killing him. He would die without Sister Verna's help. How could he go to the other sisters and ask for their help now? Had he just sentenced himself to death? But he would not allow them to hurt him anymore. He would not. He knelt, recovering, resting on his heels, trying to think. In front of him, near the side of Sister Verna's body, lay the little book she had kept tucked behind her belt. It was the little book in which she was always writing. Richard picked it up and thumbed through the pages. It was blank. No, not entirely. Near the back, there were 2 pages with writing. I am the sister in charge of this boy. These directives are beyond reason, if not absurd. I demand to know the meaning of these instructions. I demand to know upon whose authority they are given. Yours in the service of the light, Sister Verna Sauventrine. Richard reflected on the fact that Sister Verna had been temperamental even in her writing. He looked to the next page. It was in a different hand. You will do as you are instructed or suffer the consequences. Do not presume to question the orders of the palace again. In my own hand, the prelate. Well, it looked as if Sister Verna had managed to raise the ire of someone besides himself. He tossed the book back on the ground next to her. He sat staring at her body, at what he had done. What was he going to do now? He heard a sigh and lifted his head to see Caitlin in her white confessor's dress, standing again in an archway. With a sad expression, she slowly shook her head. And you wonder why I would send you away. Caitlin, you don't understand. You don't know what she was going to. A quiet laugh drew his attention to the other side of the room. Darkenrahl stood in another doorway, his white robes aglow. Richard felt the scar of his father's handprint on his chest tingle and burn with heat. The keeper welcomes you, Richard. Darkenrahl's grim smile widened. You make me proud, my son. With a scream, Richard tore across the sand. The rage ignited anew. Sword first, he launched himself at Darkenrahl. The glowing form evaporated as Richard flew through the archway. Laughter echoed and then faded. Outside the tower, the lightning went wild. 3 hot bolts traced through the darkness toward him. Instinctively, he lifted the sword as a shield. The lightning struck the sword, flashing and twisting like a snake in a snare. Thunder jarred the ground beneath his feet. Richard squinted against the blinding light. He gritted his teeth with the strain of forcing the sword downward, taking the flaring liquid lines of fire with it. They dulled and diminished as they were dragged to the ground, where they writhed, hissing as if in death, until at last they faded and were gone. Enough of these visions. Richard angrily sheathed his sword and collected the horses from their grazing. He didn't know where he was going to go, but he was getting away from this tower, away from the dead sister, away from what he had done. That is the end of chapter 31. So, who hates me? Anybody? Anybody? Babe, do you hate me? No. I've worked so hard. What do you mean, nope? How you feeling, babe? I get that. Meaning, nope, you guys don't hate me, or nope, that's not where the story ends? Well, gluttons for punishment is never a bad thing, honestly. And thank you guys. I like the parts that have a lot of suspense and vitriol to it, a lot of anger, a need to speak quickly and put emphasis into the actions that are taking place. I'm weird like that. I get that, Bailey. Okay, guys, but I am going to hop off of here. It is time for us to go to bed. I love you guys. I hope you have a nice night. Go ahead and message us on TikTok if we're friends. Message us on Instagram if we're not. If you have us somewhere else, go ahead and message us there. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great night. Try to be good. If you can't be good at it. Trump sucks, and have a good day.